Hello everyone, so welcome back. So today's something a little bit different. I've been promising this for ages, but I've just never got around to it. So here we are with a little bit of inspiration from Facebook to do this. We have the TAMIYA Juniors, or the Mini 4x4s, or Mini 4-wheel drives rather, whatever you want to call them. Some of you will remember these, some of you won't. But if you were ever in BT's or a model shop back in the late 80s, early 90s, you'll remember these. Made by TAMIYA, 132 scale, so much smaller than the remote controlled car. Battery driven, so two AA batteries with a 4-wheel drive forward motion, and that is it. Now the reason for these was, from what I can gather, is that in some poorer countries they could not afford a remote controlled car. I mean, if you look back at the prices from back then to now, really in the grand scheme of things, the remote control cars aren't very much more expensive than what they were. I mean, you can pick up a Grasshopper for what, 80 quid, can't you? And I don't think they were ever really much less than that. But these little beauties were £4.99 when I used to get them from BT's, which is a long time ago. You can still get some of them for around the £15 to £25 mark, and you build them yourself. They come in kit form. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got any unbuilt ones at the moment to show you how the kit form comes, but think of whichever car you're looking at, and even scale the packaging down in the same way, because TAMIYA packaged their big cars in the same way as they packaged the small ones, and these are no different. So they were, if we talk about the ones at the front first, basically, if you haven't seen the tracks that they use, and they do have a racing scene abroad, I think Thailand, Japan, you know, not sure about China, but places like that, they certainly do. Basically like a scale electric track, like a slot car, scale electric track with little walls. Now on these you can see that these holes here, you actually mount a little disc on each corner. I haven't got the bumper fitted on the back of this one. This one has like an outrigger that comes out and also has the little wheels on them, and they protrude further than these wheels, and that's how you get your steering. So sort of going back to what these are, that's what they were used for, but in England we didn't really have the tracks, and if you try and get hold of one over here now, they cost hundreds of pounds, but you can get them generally imported from straight from Japan. So let's have a little look at what we've got. Some of these might surprise you because a couple of them aren't genuine TAMIYA, but we'll have a look. So this one, this is the Grasshopper, and funnily enough, this has only just been released a couple of months ago. It was released in Japan. You can't get them in the UK, and the reason for that is that they don't actually pass UK toy laws nowadays. They used to get away with them, but then they changed them, and because of the small operating parts and bits like that, they can't sell them as toys. Why they won't sell them as models or whatever, I do not know, but that's why you don't see them about over here so much. Yeah, so this is the Grasshopper, which came out the other month, and I had to have it because it looks nice on the shelf with my standard Grasshopper. So that is a genuine. This Thundershot, very difficult to get hold of. Again, this is one that they don't still make, but there is a loophole which I will let you in on a little bit later on in the video. So yeah, this is the Thundershot, again 4-wheel drive. You've got your little chassis there. The motor in most of them goes in the back in here. It's a little, I think it's a 130 brushed motor, and you've got your drive shaft. It drives the rear wheels, and you've got your drive shaft going up to the front wheels, and that's how that works. So that's the Thundershot. Looks cool, doesn't it? The Hornet, that's a very rare one, very rare. But again, this one isn't genuine Tamiya. They are almost as good, almost. But seeing as that you can't get the Tamiya ones anymore, was the way forward for me. We have the Fire Dragon. So you can see the chassis are starting to get different now. This was a modern one from Japan. The chassis are starting, slightly less brittle plastics. You can see how the batteries are laid out in there. In fact, see if there's any power in that one. Let's have a look. Yeah, that button is half switched on. They do rev up quite high. So yeah, and on this one you can see what I mean by the wheels at the front to get you around the corners. Did I put them on the back? No, put them on the sides on that one. There you go. So if you have a look at the overhead shot, you'll see exactly what I mean. So that is an original, very rare though. So I was pleased to get hold of that. And this is an original from back in there. So, and that is my Thunder Dragon. You can see it's showing its years, but it is old and I didn't pay a lot for it. £5 I think. It does run, but she's a little bit, bits of grit and stuff, and I don't run it. I use it as on the shelf. So you can modify these. This one, I've got a little torque tuned motor in it. It's funny, you can modify them in pretty much the same ways as motor wise as what you can in the bigger cars. I've got a torque tuned motor in one. I've got a little, what is it called, plasma dash motor in another, and the RPMs go sky high. You can go from like 19,000 RPM to something like 58,000 RPM or something crazy. I mean, these things fly. If you have a look on YouTube, Mini 4-wheel drive racing, you'll see it's from abroad, but these things, honestly, when they get on that track, you can barely see them go round it. It's absolutely mental. So yeah, that's just my basic little collection of the Ickle ones there. Moving on to the lunchbox, which you can still get. So, you know, that looks good paired up with the fully grown one. And these are cool. They go together slightly differently. You've got the motor in the middle. There's actually, I don't know if we have a look in there. See, that side there is a cog and another cog, and there's a series of cogs in the middle there which drive the front to back wheels. I suppose you could almost compare the running gear as a like a scaled down version of the squash thing. Oh, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. The squash van thing. Yeah, that's got a similar setup with the gearing, just scaled down, obviously. So yeah, that's the lunchbox. Easy to get hold of, but looks cool. Exactly the same in every way as the originals, except the original has got the manufacturer's name on the front, but that's neither here nor there for me. Now these are the rarer ones. So the Beetle, they've never remade the Monster Beetle, and I was lucky to get this one new, unbuilt in box a while ago. I paid about £25 for it, which for me, being an old original, you know, unused, brand new, unbuilt, can't get it anymore, it was a must-have. And the same with the Midnight Pumpkin. Exactly the same running gear. I mean, look at the original compared to the lunchbox, the new one. There's no difference there. So yeah, getting that was a really nice little find as well. Not immaculate, it's used, but for a toy, considering how much I used to smash my toys up, these have done well to last the nearly 40 years, I suppose. 1988, I think they are. So yeah, 35, 40 years old. Amazing, really. So yeah, that's the they do the Clodbuster and bits and pieces like that, but they are incredibly rare. But that's my little collection of the Mini 4-wheel drives, first of all. These ones also come with a wheelie bar. Yep, there we go, there's a wheelie bar. And they also have little cones that you can pop in the wheels there, so they can drive with a wheelie. Or with the cones in the wheels, they'll drive along happily at like well, just over 45 degrees like that. There's no point in it except for it's a bit of fun for whoever's using it. But there's no racing history behind these ones. They are just a bit of fun. But the reason I have them is because they look nice on the shelves with their bigger brothers. You know, it makes a nice little collection to have them. So yeah, so what we've got there is we have genuine. We have genuine new. That is a fake, genuine. So if you are interested in the, let's not say fake, let's say replicas, if you go on AliExpress and have a look at Ruize, spell Ruize, mini 4-wheel drives or juniors, you will find them. They're about 7, 8, 9, 10 quid. They vary, but they're not very expensive, and they're about that much. And if you bear in mind that something like, if you just hold up a second, the Top Force, there we go, that's a Ruize copy. It's exactly the same, but the thing is, when I looked on eBay for one of these, okay, I know some people go crazy with prices, but I think there was one for sale and it was like 700 and something quid, you know, something ridiculous. But again, it was the only one for sale, so if you wanted it, you were stuffed. You'd have to get that one. But this was £7.94 plus about 2 quid postage, I think. So that's kind of what we're looking at, you know, that's the reason. And when it's sat on the shelf next to a Top Force, it's for purely aesthetic reasons. It's worth paying the 7 quid. So yeah, that's where I get them from. Now they also did back in the day, like they did the remote controlled and radio controlled Nikos, Nikko. They also had a pop at doing the mini 4-wheel drives as well. And here's one. This one came as part of a job lot, which I was not interested in at all, to be honest. But once I got it running, after about 5 minutes, I thought, oh, I won't chuck it away, because it's still a novel bit of history, isn't it? So that's your Nikko. It's not as fast, although you can change the motor in these as well to make them quicker, but I don't know how the running gear would handle that. And that's your chassis. So, you know, the relative quality between Nikko and Tamiya is still replicated there. Now, as far as box art goes, and the boxes for these, I've got a bit of a special one here. This is actually a Champions Gold Avanti, which is rare. But this is your box art. So again, it's just like a shrunken down RC, Tamiya RC. It's the way they work. You know, and it's basically a 1/32 scale of an actual Tamiya box. The art's pretty cool on it. Although the art on this one isn't actually what you get inside. Should we have a look, see what the gold edition looks like? These are quite valuable. There we go. So it comes with the red wheels and the gold plated shell. This is on eBay, by the way, for sale, because I don't have an Avanti, so I've got nothing to display it with. But it's cool. And the box on the inside has got all the little juniors in it, which is really cool. Most of them come like that, most of the vintage ones, so that's brilliant. The new ones don't come with that. And just FYI, God, you can tell I've been working with corporate today, can't you? We have the Ruize copy, which is exactly the same, but without the Tamiya logo on it. There we go, Ruize logo, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, and that's the copy, the knockoff one, but it's still pretty cool. There you go. There's the gearbox. That's how the gearbox works in there. So yeah, that's the little bit of replica box art and genuine box art. Okay, yeah. So that's it, really. That's my. There is more to them than what I've given you the run through as, but that's probably more than what most people really want to know anyway. It probably was after about 2 minutes. So, as promised, there's my juniors and my mini 4-wheel drives. And I hope it's helped you either remember them or pick up maybe a new little collection at some point or whatever. But yeah, there it is. Any questions, stick them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Please like and subscribe if any of this interests you at all. And I'll do another video soon. And I thank you for watching this one. You take care.